Ladies, gentlemen, hello and welcome to...
Excuse me, but I'm a fuck-mothering vampire. I killed a lot of people to get this title. I deserve to be called such.
I'm sorry, but I can't use the song because of copyright. You would have to play it yourself. The edit, of course, is perfectly synced to it. A link will be in the description. As my second time playing this game, I decided to do it as a homosexual Malkavian hoe. Don't forget to leave down in the comments what clan and background you think I actually would be if I was in this game. But much to my dismay, you can neither take the estrogen pills yourself, nor give them to Mercurio instead of morphine, making him addicted to estrogen, unwillingly turning him into a trans lesbian, and ultimately having hot gay sex with him. One of the benefits of being a Malkavian is that you're never alone. In fact, I still wonder how this motherfucker managed to form even a single coherent sentence. But the jumble of unintelligible vowels dancing off of your thespian legs organ to barely form a phrase somehow still works perfectly fine as a dialogue option.
Very good. And might I say that you have the most colourful way of saying things. Very interesting dissection of the language.
And you're still perfectly capable of convincing someone that your psychotic schizo ass, who just went on a rampage outside with a fucking sledgehammer, will murder them and have non-consensual hot gay sex with their lifeless corpse if they do not cooperate.
What were we laughing about?
But of course, if talking doesn't do the job, you can always take a walk and relax. Violence is inevitable and often the answer. I'm not quite sure you would like the answer. In fact, you might have noticed it being my second playthrough, I refuse to engage in proper combat. You can either smash your left mouse button until you've trained your finger to the point you won't need a vibrator anymore, or play a mediocre first-person shooter. I personally recommend you get that bitch a cannon.
Bitches love cannons.
I myself, of course, prefer a stealth, but the clap of my...
Hey, where you going, man?
Do not ask why Janet looks like this, or why she shares a bed with her sister. There are also, as you might have expected, vampire abilities you can use. And as a Malkavian, your insanity is contagious. For you've gazed into the abyss, and when it looked back, you decided to sue it for child support. Amongst the many lessons one can take away from Vampire The Masquerade Bloodlines, the most crucially important of them all is that going to Los Angeles is a bad idea. Whether it's by a random homeless person coughing blood on your face, or by the hormones of a mildly unstable lunatic telling her it would be pretty funny to give an armed police officer severe paranoia. You will surely regret every choice that led you to this place. You could at any moment be asked to check if a rag smells like chloroform because this bisexual simpress wants to impress her vampire mommy, or be slowly taken apart by a JoJo reference. Or come home and find out Gary thinks you're pretty cute. But at least either way, I'm sure you'll have a hell of a story to tell Satan while he's checking to see if you're ready to fit 2 fingers or not. At some point during the game, you're asked to investigate a haunted hotel. And one of the often overlooked benefits of being clinically insane is that going through what would make most people tear off their own genitalia, put a wick in it and light it like a candle, then place it in the middle of a Solomonic circle drawn with blood by aggressively humping the floor, and start chanting the opening song to their favorite anime, all in a futile attempt to cast the lingering presence of the long forgotten into eternal slumber. For you it's just Tuesday. The Ocean House Hotel is one of the best horror segments I've ever seen in a video game. And don't let the colossal tits bouncing on my character's chest fool you into thinking I'm not scared. Those are there to distract me from the horrors. There are supposedly multiple ways to complete quests. I wouldn't know, since video games for me are a way to live my true self without the fear of persecution. The only alternative way I found to complete a quest was due to an accidental misinput, and it was the quest where you're asked to watch the cemetery for 5 minutes because the dead are rising, and this man is above necrophilia.
Oh, and FYI, I like them a little, stacked. Appreciate it.
I tried the local smut shop, but apparently a 2.5 feet long sword does not inhibit movement as much as you might think when it's inside a professional. One might ask, where did vampires come from? Well, my sweet innocent child of dawn, our story might take place in Los Angeles, but it begins in the Old Testament. In the Bible, when Cain killed his brother, he was cursed by God to wander the earth for as long as he lives. Here, he was also cursed to live forever. God also gave him super strength, super speed, magical powers, and a whole lot more. But the real curse of Cain was that his existence would irreversibly be tied to the evil that lurks the shadows.
I'm the Shadow Man.
He was barred from entering the light, and so were his children, and so are you. The blood coursing through your veins has a curse that's been taking roots for over 6,000 years, and all of them are reaching deep into your human soul. This is not a game about vampires, it's about humans who lay their humanity bare. Most of your interactions in the game will have you either talking to an idiot or someone trying to use you. You are a pawn in this game, and it's a vicious game. This here pretty boy is LaCroix, an extremely non-consensual hot gay sex-able fella who I'm pretty sure likes to roleplay as a helpless little maiden who lost her way into Napoleon's chambers, which might have something to do with him serving under Napoleon in Waterloo, but we just can't be sure about it. This here unshakable symbol of stoic values besides him is LaCroix's favorite top, who has the same level of free will as a straight man seeing a cute femboy for the first time. LaCroix represents Camarilla, a very old, very powerful sect of vampires dedicated to making sure whenever a mortal sees you casually juggling an entire shopping cart in the middle of the street, the only thing they might suspect would be your source of protein. The direct opposition to the Camarilla is Sabbat, a very old, very powerful sect of vampires dedicated to reminding mortals of their mortality, and vampires that if God didn't want them to kidnap someone, gouge out their eyes, and use them as a living blood bag, well, then he probably would have done something about it by now. The indirect opposition to the Camarilla are Anarchs. They are communist vampires. They like the stability of the Camarilla, but not its structure. They also believe just because someone could, theoretically, send hundreds of anonymous death threats to the Pope using carrier pigeons doesn't mean that they necessarily should, but it definitely would be pretty funny. The leader of the Anarchs in LA is this here fella who goes by the name of Nines Rodriguez. His hobbies may include ominously looking down over the city from the top of Venture Tower, while LaCroix is losing his shit about his private property. Ragebait successful. Other noteworthy Anarchs are this here lady with her impressive personality, whose massive hits are overshadowed only by her tendency to hit you like a bitch, until you moan for her like a bitch and bleed white all over her remarkable floor. And this here motherfucker known as Jack, therapist and a legend among the Anarchs, who definitely did not send hundreds of anonymous death threats to the Pope using carrier pigeons. There are also Kuei-jin. They are Eastern supernatural beings similar to vampires who do not share the blood of Cain. The Kuei-jin believe in harmony and preserving the natural order, who came to the New World with the goal of restoring the natural state of Chinese supremacy by the means of introducing the impressionable minds of American children to depraved concepts such as mailing pipe bombs to online strangers who cast doubt on the childbearing capabilities of their favorite Gunner Gacha game characters, and by making sure their adults are helplessly addicted to watching underage e-girls dance half-naked on TikTok. They also believe children of Cain to be utter abominations, and the mistake that if God wouldn't fix doesn't mean we shouldn't try. It's entirely up to you which of these factions will have LA by the end of the game, so choose carefully the path you take. The Anarchs desire freedom, but what are children of Cain, if not bound by their father's blood? The Camarilla promise order, and in servitude seek salvation for all. The Sabbat believe they've shattered the chains, yet are no less a slave to their desires than an animal. And the Kuei-jin deny all they want, are mirror images of Cainites. Also, I should note, unless you're playing the unofficial patch, you can't join the Sabbat and they are just the bad guys. Centerpiece to this conflict is the Ankaran sarcophagus, a 10,000 years old Halloween prop of Assyrian origin, the god of Turkey, which for some goddamn reason, half of the state of California is convinced it has a slumbering antediluvian inside it. One of the first people to ever call Cain Daddy, who upon awakening is prophesied to suck dry every creature, living or otherwise. The other half believe monsters and ghouls and ghosts are just byproducts of a simpler era riddled with superstitions and only exist today thanks to the ignorance of people.
What?
Personally, I think it's Turklander.
Huh? Suddenly it reeks of hypocrisy in here. Oh, if it isn't the Catholic Church. And what's this? No little Timmy glued to your crotch. Progress.
My final score for this game is the early 2000s out of GTA Online. قابیل بابیل قابیل کشت یا قابیل بابیل هابیل کشت.